today. We also have James's wife, Teresa, and Peggy's best friend, Cheryl, and of course, Allison Oster, and her son, Jude. And thank you for doing scripture for us today. So we heard about prison ministry that Bobbie and Peggy have both been involved in, and they came with a wonderful story with Curtis and James, and so we're just going to take this time today, this morning, to kind of hear their stories. It's really powerful. I got to go over and meet them this week, and we just talked for 2 hours. It could have went on all night. We had to drive back to Mineola, so but it's just a really great opportunity. Some really great people to meet, so excited to share that with y'all this morning. Amen. Did okay? Wait. Alrighty, so we're just going to start off again very casual. I'm not going to ask too many questions, but first let's just go ahead and Curtis and James, if you would, just share with us your background, just kind of your upbringing and different things that you've experienced.
Where do you want to start?
First of all, my name is James Shanks, and I've been out of prison for 6 months now, where I spent the last 14 years. And I always said if I got this opportunity that I'm going to do what was said in Matthew, because it scared me to death when I read when Jesus said, if you ever deny me in public, I will deny you before the Father. So I said right then, if I ever get this opportunity, I want to tell everybody that Jesus Christ is my Lord and Savior and King of Kings.
I'll give you all a little rundown on mine and Curtis's family. We're cousins. We raised together. We raised more like brothers than it was anything else. I was the one that got the woods beat up when these little kids playing cops and robbers. But man, we come from a long line of violence, drinking, drugs, alcohol, anything you can think of. It was on the outlaw side of things. We've done it. We've been there. We're proud of it. Lived it. That's pretty much our background. A lot of chaos.
So it wasn't very pleasant growing up, although I know you mentioned saw a lot of ugly. Yeah.
Well, it was natural to us. Yeah, we didn't know no difference. It was normal for us every weekend to see gunfights and knife fights, and windows knocked out of the house, TV busted, all showing up. That was just a normal weekend in our lives growing up. So we didn't know it wasn't normal until later on in life.
I've got a couple more uncles that Curtis looked up to a lot when he was younger. He tried to kind of fill their shoes. Well, I was younger than Curtis and our other uncle. We've got another uncle that hopefully fixes to join us in the ministry. So, but I tried to live up to their aspects, tried to be like they were. So I can blame it on them for taking me down this road.
Not quite the example, but so can both of you tell us then, how did prison come into your picture, into your world? How did that happen? What happened to you?
Well, once again, it was normal for us when we, probably around the age of 12 or 13, when we was able to venture away from the house, we just started getting into messes. So we went down that road of juvenile probation, juvenile state schools, and well, from day one, my parents was in prison. So I went through household to household, just moving around, getting shuffled around. So from as long as I can remember, we was on a criminal path. There was no money or none of that, so we stole their school clothes and food. We'd have to go out and steal food and that type of stuff. So just as long as I can remember, which, it's not easy to get in prison. You think it is, but there's a process. There's probation. They give you every chance in the world. And then, of course, once you get there, it's impossible to get out.
So, you said you served how many years, James?
I served 7 this last time around, but altogether I've got about 25, pretty close to 30 years done behind bars. So.
And then Curtis?
I've done 14 years straight.
So tell us then, how did these two lovely ladies come into your lives? How did you meet Bobbie? And I think both of you had met John as well. And of course you remember John Pinnell before he passed away, Bobbie's husband. So can you tell us how you got to meet that lady?
I met her in 2000. They had a Daniel Revelation seminar in Minneapolis, and me and a couple of other families went to it, and my wife, and we went through the Revelation seminar, and Bobbie and John took us in, and just adopted her.
I said I adopted every one of you.
She took us home and just became a great person to us, man. Just loved us, trying to help us.
I went to prison for intoxicated manslaughter, and I was severely injured myself in the wreck. And Bobbie and John knew me through James and other friends. They reached out to me at that point. They was just pouring out love, which, by the way, is why we're here today. We're here to recognize this woman right here and all the love that she done, and just to, we got to tell her story to show what she done. Because a lot of times people look at us as prisoners, and by right, we're just no good. We're a nuisance to the public, we're an expense on the community, we're troublemakers, and on down the line. And probably a lot of y'all have been affected by a thief or a liar or something along those lines. But we have to tell our story to give this woman the credit to where we're at now. And that's just a simple story of love, just like the message that the young man read earlier. That's what Jesus asked us to do. Just love one another as I had loved you. So with that said, that's why we're here. But I met her a little bit before then. I was injured and was invited to church through James and some more friends. And I first met Bobbie Pinnell there. And she took me home with her that day. And while I was in prison, probably a few months after that, she had wrote me a card. And very special card at a time when I was ready to hang it up. My leg was amputated. I was looking at 20 years in prison. My wife divorced me. And, it's all over. I done messed up too much. There's no hope. And I actually prayed to God. And this was his answer. I call her my living angel because he sent her to me in that form. And she's been that ever since. For 14 years, she wrote a letter every day. Every day. Yeah, wow, that's right. And,
2 letters a day.
Yeah, and more. There's more of them.
So Bobbie, can you tell us how'd you get into prison ministries, or
With these two guys.
what was it that what was on your heart that made you just want to reach out and send them letters?
Loved them, both of them, from the time I met them. And he marked himself a place at my table at that first day I met him, and he sat in there 2 times if he's lucky a day, didn't count.
So you had not really done any kind of prison ministry before that. You just wanted to reach out to these guys that you had met and let them know that you love them. So each of you then, and Curtis, you've mentioned the letters. Those were a big impact on their ministry to you and to James. Can you just share us a little bit more about the letters and other things they may have done for you while y'all were in prison?
Well, they meant the world. Prison is a whole different world within itself. It's a violent place. It's full of ugliness, and it's just it's real easy to get lost in that setting and just give it up and say, you know what? If you want to treat me like an animal, I'll be an animal. And just prison doesn't help people. It makes them worse people. But it's when your family and society and the law has all given up on you, and a lot of hope comes in the form of a letter, it changes your whole world. It's just like that one little mustard seed of hope and love. And, I mean, we're going to lie on it. She sent money, which she didn't have. Books. There was no pressure, nothing asked in return. Just simply, I love you, I care about you. And it just meant everything. And it was never forgotten. And never will be forgotten.
Amen.
I can't say, there's no words that I can sit here and say that's going to give this woman the credit that she deserves.
Amen.
You know, ultimately, we're here to recognize Jesus Christ, God, and all the goodness. But this is a good demonstration of it.
Amen.
You know, it's real easy to quote scripture. It's real easy to tell people, you know, if you go to church and if you follow the word, that your life will be this. When you're under them circumstances, then all that just seems like a faraway dream or something that's not reality. It's for normal people, not us. But she brought that to us and turned it around.
Amen.
Didn't y'all had mentioned the other night that the letters were kind of famous? They're wanting to.
Yeah, the letters she wrote, the books that she sent, her letters were so positive and uplifting that I would let my homeboys read them. And they'd ask me every day, "Did we get a letter from Bobbie today? Did we get a letter from Bobbie today?" And with the money she had sent, a lot of people got to sit, eat, fellowship, have a good time, because we shared that money as well with other people. The books got passed around in prison. All the books she sent me, I know there was many people who wanted to borrow them and read them. And some of them I never got back. They liked them so much, I guess they just did. That was fine too, because they was doing the work that needed to be done in the prison. And man, this lady is touched. I couldn't tell you how many people she's touched on all the units I've been on. She's been great. She loved me back here, right? So I love her for it.
There was 2,000 men on my unit, and I'd be willing to say that probably 1,500 of them knows who Miss Bobbie is.
That's wonderful. And so I know while you're in prison, Peggy also got involved with some letters, and Curtis, she sent you something particularly special. Would you like to share that with us?
I would. As a lot of you probably know Peggy from the past, she's a writer. She's wrote some novels, and she used to write for this church, if I'm not mistaken. But her letters are just wonderful. But when Peggy first came into my life, she actually wrote a poem. And it says, "Free at last, confined within these prison walls, where anguish cries fill the halls. I seek to find a blessed peace, to give my mind a sweet release. There's no escape from the gloom that shadows that dreary prison room. Yet when my eyes lift to look, they fall upon the sacred book. Then I'm reminded once again, I share this space with a friend who's not restrained by cinder blocks, and daily on my door he knocks. He comforts me from morn to night, assuring me that it's all right. This fiery furnace I can stand as long as Jesus has my hand. Bondages, not just prison cells. It's anywhere that Satan dwells. He captures both mind, and heart in his quest to keep Christ and me apart. I must listen for my Savior's voice as he guides me to the perfect choice. Shackles gone, I've been set free, for Jesus shared this space with me. By Peggy.
Amen.
This, this is actually hanging in our prison chapel in a frame on the wall. It touched so many people. I got to read it in church, and it just went, it just went on and on. I had passed it around. It was written in some papers, and went through several prisons. Reached some people on the outside who looked her up on Facebook and just connected with her. And this woman come into my life like a hurricane. She just...
Amen. I know. Amen.
That's from her daughter. But it was amazing. I couldn't make parole because of course, Mothers Against Drunk Drivers was protesting me and the family, which they had all right to do. And I pray for all of them every day. But she come in with some financial help. They passed around a hat and come up with a parole attorney, which is the only reason I'm sitting here today.
Amen.
So amen, right? So she just, I owe her a debt. She won't accept it, but I owe it to her for life. I owe this whole family a debt. They have all just pretty much adopted me.
I'm gonna get my boy.
Amen. Amen. But you know, when I was in prison and it all fell apart, I just dropped to my knees and I told God, look, all I ever seen was just ugliness, violence, hatred, meanness, and I'm sick of it. You know, I want to see something good. I want to see something positive, something happy, love. You know, if this is all life is, I don't really want it. And that's what this family brought me. God sent it to me.
Amen. Amen.
Come on, Peggy.
That's all.
Are we following the form?
So much for hurricane. Okay.
I would like to say that this has never been one-sided. Mother and I have received so much from these guys. Before I got involved, they helped, I really believe they helped my mother get through a bad time in her life when my dad died. She had a purpose and a focus, and they shared their love and support and their comfort with her, and I think it was very important then. When my daughter-in-law was diagnosed with thyroid cancer, I knew without a doubt that 2 men in 2 different prisons were lifting her up several times a day with their prayer group and praying for her. We were invited to give, encouraged by both of them to give all our prayer requests to them, and their prayer circle prayed for all of us. So we received a whole lot from them. My friend Cheryl was having a little bit of a problem with one of her sons, and she wrote Curtis and asked if he would write a letter. And he did, and it made a big impact, a big impression on him. To get a letter from a man in prison, I don't know what all he said, but I'm sure he let him know what the environment was like and how Jesus had come into his life and had turned him around. With me, I just was amazed with their letters. They were inside, and yet all their letters were so positive and upbeat. And I would feel bad because sometimes I was going through highs and lows with business and didn't feel like writing because I felt down and negative. But I went ahead and wrote and shared it, and they lifted me up and prayed for me. And on December 4th, I got the phone call, I have been waiting forever for. This guy got out of prison that day, and he gave me a call. And I told him just what I said, that he had inspired me so much because I was on the outside and down, and he was on the inside and upbeat and positive. And I said, you inspired me so much. And I'll never forget what he told me. He said, no, you inspired me. He said, I was inside, I knew I had food and shelter, but you were out there working for it. And that just meant a lot to me, and I love these two guys with all my heart.
Thank you, Peggy.
It's a beautiful story, isn't it? So at this point, share with us why Seventh-day Adventist Church. What was the impact that brought you to this?
Well, for me and Teresa, when we started Daniel Revelation Seminar, before we started, we was in the Baptist church, and I didn't feel like I was getting fed there at all. And I come home from work and told Teresa we needed to pray about the church. We could find that we could enjoy and get something out of it. And we prayed about it. When I come home from work that night, she had some flyers in her hands about a Daniel Revelation Seminar that had been held at the Civic Center in Minneapolis, 7 o'clock at night, so I could be there. And we started attending them, and I started learning that, man, they really teach the Bible, the history of the Bible, the history of the people in the Bible. And me and another brother, Ronnie Polly, we researched it. Everything about the Sabbath, everything about the pork. I mean, we tore into the library and everything. And when we was done, I was convinced that Seventh-day Adventist Church is where God wants us to have.
Amen.
So a short while later, a couple of weeks, we was baptized into the Adventist Church when the meeting was over. Brother Jack Boss, if any of y'all know Jack, man, woo. I don't know, man.
Very powerful.
Well, I was just straight up with God. You know, I said I fell on my knees, and I just laid it on the line that, you know, God, I want this. You know, if you can read my heart and know the truth that I'm feeling right now, then I need help. I need a church family, I need church friends, I need church, I need church clothes, I need everything. And he sent it. And he pulled me in through the Adventist church, through this family, and through that church. There was no story. I first met John Donnell, Bobbie's husband, her father. I was a young man in my 20s running around looking for a job. And they was framing a church in Minneapolis, the Minneapolis Seventh-day Adventist Church. And I pulled up and asked if they needed any help. And he said, yeah, he was up the rapids. He said, yeah, come on up, we can use some help. I said, well, let me get my nail bag. So I got my bag, was putting on, was headed that way. And I just thought to ask him, well, can I ask what you're going to pay? And he said, oh, we ain't paying nothing. This is volunteer work. And as bad as I wish I could say I helped, I didn't. I got in my truck. But that was my first experience. But there's always been an attraction to this church. And, you know, as I went through that process, there's one other story I want to tell. I got an envelope one day, and it was from the Seventh-day Minneapolis Adventist Church. And it was a whole stack of letters from the Sunday school kids, or Sabbath school kids, I'm sorry. And I mean, from little stick men to actual letters, the whole group. And it brought tears to my eyes. It was just, I wrote everyone back. And it was just connection after connection. So, in my eyes, that's where God wanted me. And of course, you get to reading, and Jesus tells you, if you love me, you will obey my commandments. And as I really got to, and I do love him, and I want to obey his commandments. So as I really started researching his commandments, then I realized there is 10 of them. So I need to find a church that recognizes that and follows all of them. So I'm here so I can show my love to Christ.
Amen.
So you were baptized in 2001, right, James? And then after the evangelistic meetings, correct? And your wife as well, right, Teresa? And then Curtis, when were you baptized?
2 Sabbaths ago.
2 weeks ago. So, Peggy, I'd like you to share, Curtis touched on kind of a small world, how he met Bobbie and John before ever going to the church or anything, just kind of randomly, and then came back and reconnected again. Can you tell us, there's a little bit of a twist to the story in our small world that we do live in, that character?
Okay. While Curtis was in prison, he became acquainted with a man, and as they got to know each other, found out he was had Adventist roots, and they would talk and share a lot. And the man told Curtis, he said, I have kind of his background, and he said, I have spent most of my life looking for a pastor who made a big difference in my life and impressed me so much in such a short, brief period of time. And he said his name was Chico. And so Curtis said, well, I think I've heard Miss Bobbie talk about Chico. So he asked her and gave the man's name, and then Mother gave me the story. And I said, yes, years ago when Chico was the pastor of our church, we had an evangelistic series by Bill May, and this family joined our church. But shortly after they joined, the father was killed in a trucking accident. And then his wife and children eventually quit coming. And so he began to get in trouble. But everywhere he went, when he ran away from home or no matter where he lived, he was searching in phone books everywhere trying to find this Chico. He actually didn't know anything but Chico because he had been about 11 years old then. But he thought it was the last name. But he was searching all over for him. So when Mother told me the story, I said, well, I'm friends with him and his wife on Facebook. So I got in touch with them, and I said, small world, when his father died, Chico called me and asked me to write a poem to be read at his funeral. So here I had written a poem for this man's father, and he's in prison with Curtis. And so Chico and his wife, Nancy, Chico Cotto, I gave him Carrie's address. They started writing him, and that just thrilled him. He just was on top of the world over that and being in contact with them again. And he's been another one that we've been writing, and he made parole recently. He gets out May 31st. And so that's left us with one other one that we're ministering to in prison. So.
But I guarantee you through that one, you're ministering to a whole lot of others, I promise. Always take heart in that. You're not just ministering to one person, you're ministering to many.
Examples go a long way, personal stories. So let us know, where are you now, basically? What's everyday like for you now?
I love it. Work every day, just about. Hard work too, man. But after being in there for so long and then having your mind messed up, when you're on drugs and drinking and stuff, if you're working, you're going to eventually lose your job. You're going to lose everything you got, so you end up stealing somebody's drugs and stuff. And it's just great to be free from all of that, man. All of that. I don't have to worry about getting drunk, going to jail, or the police coming to the house and doing anything, because right now I'm in a good place. I'm loving every day of it.
I'm on top of the world. I feel like Job in the Bible, just after everything was getting back. I'm staying out at Bobbie's house. All her kids are up in this area and family, so she's kind of down there by herself. So I got the opportunity to stay there with her and kind of work off some of my debt. I owe her like $30 million or something. So I'm trying to work that off.
Most of it in cash.
just having the time of my life, and I'm just blessed. And God is blessing me on every corner, and I'm reconnecting. I met my grandkids for the first time, and just on and on. The church nominated me for deacon duty, and I'm praying about that. And I feel unworthy and everything, but I'm praying about it. I'd be honored to get to do that. There's just all kind of wonderful things. Every day I wake up and look and thank God for the things that He's given me that day. So,
I'd like to add something to that real quick. And Curtis said it the other day when we was at Peggy's house. Every day there's a battle. There's a battle, there's a new struggle, there's just something new that you got to face and handle. And I tell Teresa all the time, it's just another challenge, man. We've met everyone out here so far with the help of God. I ain't scared of this one either. So, but every day there's a challenge to be faced, and if you face it with a positive attitude with God before you, it's going to be all right.
Amen.
I'd like to add to that, because that's what James just said is my daily life. And I learned how to overcome it. First of all, it's just, for me to win just a small battle is, man, it's a good feeling, because I've always lost them. I just went the wrong way. And I learned that in prison. We read the Bible in prison. I mean, we read it from cover to cover, back and forth, jump around. But the Old Testament, I noticed that. Every day was a battle. Even in Kings, there was some young men after the 40 years, and they crossed over and all this, and peacetime. Well, some enemy come down, and they asked God why, and God said, I have saved this enemy so you would know about it. So I realized then that we need battle for some reason. We need, well, for God to show us that we need Him in our lives. But that is a great way to look at it for us, to get up every day and just look for the battle and say, okay, God, show me how to win it for me.
Amen.
Thank you both for sharing. And I think now would be a good time. James had a special request for a song called Thank You for Giving to the Lord by Ray Boltz. Probably many of you are familiar with it. And we've got a slideshow to go with it. So Melanie, give us just a second so we can turn some chairs around. And at this time, we'll play that song for everyone.
This song is for Bobbie's. Absolutely. You want to turn around for that?
You don't want to cook here?
She's just gonna think that way. Okay.
I'm not going to